Hi everyone, Barry here from Papercrafts. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for our Funfold Friday series. For today's Funfold, I'm going to be using the Artistically Inked stamp set, as well as the artistic dies, and I'm going to be using the Expressions in Ink Speciality Designer Series paper, which is this one right here. Look how pretty this is. It's got this lovely alcohol ink style background with this gold foiling through it as well, and there's lots of patterns in the pack, but this is the one which I'm going to be using tonight. So that's what we're going to be doing. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you all of the bits you need, which you would need to prepare for this with the measurements. I will be working in inches for this particular project. So go ahead, prepare everything which you need to do, and then I can then show you how to then actually construct this card. So the card I'm going to be making for you actually is going to be a shutter fold card. It's a card I've been interested in making for a long time. And it seemed like a perfect opportunity to show you how to do it. So good, so I'm going to crack on, show you the elements you need to prepare. So have fun, enjoy, and let's get started. So first things first, you need to prepare yourself a piece of cardstock. I'm using Magenta Madness with this one, so 5.5 by 8.5 inches. You will need 2 pieces measuring 3.5 by 4 inches. I'm using some fresh freesia here, so this is measuring 3 by 5.5. I have also got some designer series paper measuring 2 7/8 by 5 3/8, and I have got 2 pieces here measuring 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Going to be doing a belly band, so this is going to be measuring 9.5 by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to score this at 2 6 5/16 of an inch. Okay, but I'll explain that a bit more when I come to that one. First things first, go ahead and take your 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock, and we are going to score this here at 2 1/8 of an inch. On both sides. So that's 2 1/8 of an inch on both sides. Once you've done that, fold and burnish this to create your card base. Once you've done that, you can actually go ahead and stick your designer series paper. So we've got these 2 pieces here. These can go on the front of the card like this. Good. So there's the front of the card ready. Okay. Next thing we want to do is we want to take our fresh freesia piece, and we want to take our designer series paper, so the 5 3.5 piece and the 2 7/8 by 3 3/8, and we can then stick these 2 pieces together. Now we are going to be die cutting through these 2 together. Now cutting through these 2 will be fine. If you go for anything thicker than this, then I would say you're going to need to cut them individually and then draw some pencil lines around it to then line it back up again. So just, I would say a bit of cardstock and some designer series paper is fine for cutting through. If you're going any more than that, I would recommend you just do it in stages. So that's going to go down like that. Good, so I have got myself one of the layer and circles, and I'm going to die cut this out now. So I'm die cutting it out not quite in the center, but just slightly above center, but I don't want to go too close to the top because otherwise it's going to interfere with the mechanism. So bring it to center, and then just take it up if you want it just a little bit higher, okay? And then run that through your die cutting machine. And there we have it. So we have got our bit here with our circle now cut out. So what we can do is we can pop some dimensionals on the back of this ready in preparation for later on, but do not take the backing papers off just yet. So I'm going to pop them on the bottom here. Like that. And I'm going to pop them on the top. Now with this one, try and make sure you get them as close to the top as you can, because you don't want them to interfere with the mechanism on this one. So get them as close to the top the better. There we go. Okay, so good. So that's ready for our inside part. And what we can do is we can then just take the backing paper off of the bottom ones only, and then stick this, line it up in the center of this card here, and stick it on the bottom. Okay, so that's now the makings of our card. So you can either use this one right here. Now just bear in mind, if you are using this and I'm just going to show you something, and it's got lots of foiling on it, when you go to stamp over it, depending on what ink you use, it will not stick to the foiling. So it's just something to be aware of. So you can use this if the foiling isn't going to interfere. Alternatively, you can stamp yourself another piece of basic white, and then you can then do your stamping on this one. So what we can do is we can stamp ourselves happy birthday on this. So if I just grab my sentiment, so I'm going to be using the long sentiment here. Now this is obviously too long for this piece of paper, so I'm going to do this in stages. Okay, so I'm going to ink up the happy first. And then I will then pop that in the center, like so. And then I will then ink up the birthday. But first things first, actually, clean in between. And stamp off just to get rid of any residue. And then we can then go ahead and ink up the birthday. That down like that. Okay, so that's that one. And then to add some decoration to this, I'm going to use this stamp right here. Grab myself a bit of scrap paper, and I'm going to use Fresh Freesia ink. I'm just going to ink this up. And I'm just going to go across the middle of that sentiment. And just look how pretty that is. Okay, just adds a real nice interest to that sentiment. So we've just basically replicated this, but because of the foiling on there, it's not interfered with it, and we've made our own, and we can use that for a nice topper later on. If you are going to stamp on that, you may want to use Stays On ink, which will hopefully stick to the foiling a little bit better. So I've created my own, which can go on the inside like this right here. So good, but I'm not going to stick that in yet because I may need to manipulate it, and it may need to go off slightly center later on. So don't be tempted to stick this in yet. We'll wait until we've got the shutters in, and then we can maneuver it if necessary. Okay, but at least it is ready. So we're going to, with that in mind, we're going to take our shutter pieces and our trimmer. So these shutter pieces are going to be these ones right here, which are the 3.5 by 4 pieces. And we're going to score 1/2 inch along the long edge. So the 4-inch edge right here, we'll score 1/2 inch there. And do that on both of them. Then what you want to do is you want to find the middle of this. So you're going to want to take yourself a pencil, and the middle of this one, if you're using these measurements, will be 1 3/4 inch. So we'll take it to 1 3/4 inch, pop this down here, grab a pencil, and then just draw a faint line in here. And then this one here is half of this one, 1/2 of 4 is 2. And then just draw a line there, and then we've got our center part right there. So we do exactly the same. So on the 3 inch, it's 1 3/4. And then 2 inches. And you can see there we've got our center point. Now what you want to do is we can draw a line. So do this in pencil again. You can either do this in pencil or you can use your trimmer, but we want to connect the center part up with the corner down here. So this half here is the 1/2 inch flap mark. Okay, so we're drawing on the opposite side to that. And do this on both pieces. So pop your triangle in. So you don't have to put these pencil lines in, it's just easier for you on the camera to see what I'm actually doing. You can use the trimmer, but it might just be easier for you just to see and follow a line. So you can see what I've gone and done there. Just pop those pencil lines in. So I'm just going to grab my paper snips and then we'll just cut up, and we'll do that on both pieces. So once you've gone ahead and cut these out, we can then fold and just burnish the end parts. That's those 2 pieces. So you've got your 2 opposites, and then they are then going to go in and connect to make your little shutter, just like that. So to finish this one off, what we need to do is we need to, sorry about the noise, that's our cats fighting in the background. So with this, what we need to do is we need to pop this in here. And then you need to line it up in the center, line it up along the score line, the edge, the complete edge up against the score line. And then we're going to pop some glue along that tab only. Once we're happy with that in position, I'm just trying to aim for this in the center as best as possible, and then close that down and then stick. And then we can then open up and then just fold and burn, just burnish that in just a little bit more, just so it just pushes that glue out just a fraction. Just be careful when you open it, because obviously it's wet, it's going to want to pull itself away till it's completely dry. And we do exactly the same with the other one. Now what I tend to like to do is to interlock these, so I have one going over and then one is going under. So I've gone over and under. Do exactly the same, line this up, try to make sure that the 2 are lined up as best as possible, glue on the tab and then close it over again. And there we have that. So we can now do this one. So ideally we can pop some glue on the back of this, like so. And then we can then slide this in. And position that, and then once it's roughly in place, we can then position that, and then we've got a little bit of wiggle room with the sentiment. So it may have been bang in the center, so we would have been easy, may have been happy to have gone down straight away like we did at the beginning, but it's just, you've got a little, if you're using wet glue, you've got yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Get that in position, and then that is done. Okay, so good. Once you've done that, we can then take the backing papers off of the dimensionals here at the top, and then we can go ahead and then stick this down. Then all we've got to do is finish it off with a belly band. And that's why you need to be quite as close to the top. Can you see there the dimensionals are very close to that. So just, if anything, you may want to come down, but just make sure you've at least put it 1/2 inch gap from the top here. And that's it. And as that closes up, that's that. And then as the person opens this, ta-da! How cool is that? It's so easy. It looks really complicated, but you know, it actually isn't. I was quite surprised at how easy this card is to make. Now, to finish this off, we're going to do some stamping and some die cutting and make a belly band. So what you want to do is we want to stamp the elements here. So I'm going to stamp this rose. And we can then pop that down there. And I'm doing that in Magenta Madness. And I will then stamp the leaves in Just Jade. Down like that. And just look at the detail. Look how pretty that is. So we can do those. And then we would then go ahead and cut these out. I'm also going to be using this elements pack here, which is part of the suite with this one. So you can get these, you get the papers, and you get the stamp and your dies. So one product number gets you all of these. You can buy them individually if you want, but if you want the whole lot, then there's a suite number. And then this comes, it's got some embellishment on the inside here, and it's got all of these gold. It's got lots of these, the same ones. You've got lots of these gold elements. So I've actually gone ahead and prepared the piece for you. So I'm using I'll show you a full sheet there, so you can see what you're getting right there. And all of these little bits, things, they are quite fiddly, but they look really pretty. Okay, so you can do that. And I've decided to use that one and that one right here for this, as well as that bit. But don't get rid of any of those bits, because I'm sure you can use them for something else. Go ahead and then die cut out whatever you're going to be decorating with. Stick it to a piece of scrap paper, and then that is then what you're going to be left with. I've decorated the paper just by getting a Magenta Madness blend and just splatting it a little bit to give a little bit of texture and detail to this, and then I've just stuck this together. We'll take our belly band piece then, which is measuring 9.5 by 1.5, and then this fits over this quite nicely, and we can then have this on here as our belly band. So I'll just go ahead and stick some glue onto this one. But the first, I suppose, what I would do is I would make my belly band up first, and then stick that on. So I've done this one, and I've scored this at 2 inches on this side here, and then come across and then scored that at 6 5/16, which then goes around and creates that belly band. And then I'm happy to then go ahead and stick some glue on the back of this one. That keeps that shut. So all I've got to do, on and off. Pieces. And keeps that done. And then just stick that to the front, like so. No sentiment on the front because the sentiment is in the centre. Go like that. So I'm kind of like aiming for an even border here and here. So the length of that whisper white, or that basic white which you've got on there, is depending on how you decorate it, and then whatever excess you've got this side, just snip it away. We can finish with some gems if you wish. You can pop some of these around in here. So we just take your pick tool, and these are adhesive backs. So all we need to do is just pop that in like that. that works quite well. And job is done. So that there is our shutter card. And there we go. And how pretty is that? Really, really happy with that, how easy and how simple that was. And then that just sits over. So I hope you enjoyed that video today, and you are enjoying our Funfold Friday series. Click the hashtag in the title for Funfold Friday, and that will then take you to all our videos which we've done with that hashtag. Please remember that the description down below has got links to our website, has got links to our online shop, has got links to our donation button. So if you'd like to help support our channel, which then helps in turn to helps us purchase the products to be able to bring you projects like this, the donate button is down below, or there is a super chat function in the chat area as well. There's a little super chat button in there, so you can donate right now if you'd like to. If you do shop with us, please remember to use the current host code as well, and that allows us to then be able to send you a little thank you card. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you again on our lives on Sunday, and again next Friday for another Funfold Friday. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.